I thought the first quarter was really, really good in terms of how we were playing stylistically. I thought the second unit in the end of the first, throughout the part of that second, we didn't get going with the same pace. We got down by, I think, maybe 10 or 12, but I thought we closed the second quarter really, really well, and I was really pleased the way we came out in the third quarter. We came out, I thought we got back, because we lost some pace and tempo and speed there, I thought, in that second quarter, and we kind of got it back. And then I thought, to close the third quarter, I thought that second unit kind of got back to playing like they had been playing. So overall, I thought it was a really, really good team effort. We had a lot of contributions from a lot of guys. I like the way we tried to share the basketball. I thought we kept the turnovers down in the second half. I think we had 9 in the first half. I think it was maybe 6 in the second half, which is better. But we got to be better there. They're a hard team to guard with all the offense players they have on the perimeter, and certainly Sabonis is a great facilitator. But I just thought we kept playing the game, and obviously they're coming off a back-to-back. But overall, I thought there was moments that were really good, moments that we probably needed to improve upon.
You had a season high in assists tonight, 34. Are you pleased with where the ball and player movement is at in 4 games?
Yeah, the group's really unselfish. I think we talked a lot about in the off season that when our transition kind of got taken away from us, we had some challenges. We didn't get to the rim, did not get to the rim a lot, didn't get to the free throw line a lot. So I think in the off season, a lot of it was talking about we were going to have more off ball, more player movement, that kind of stuff. And these guys have done a really good job. Josh is a really good cutter. Okoro's a good cutter. Kevin Herter moves and cuts well. So does Trey. We've got a lot of guys that can do that well. And not only Vooch, but I think the group as a whole is unselfish in terms of finding each other when they're open.
Billy, I know you talked about Modest after that Orlando game, how he spoke to you and was not happy with his performance. This game, at least, he looked really active. He only had 1 block, but he was challenging guys. He just seemed more lively, going to the boards and stuff. Is that just a sign that when he does get a hard lesson, he does rally from it?
He does. That's the one thing I've said about him. Like when things don't go well for him, he takes it and uses it as a learning experience, and he kind of comes back better from it, and he leans into that stuff. I think that's why, quite honestly, he's been able to progress at the rate he's progressed at, because I think he takes his experience, learns from him, but doesn't dwell on it, doesn't get down, just kind of moves on to the next thing. And listen, there's going to be, I think, a lot of those moments where you're coming out of a game like Orlando where it's foul trouble or a certain matchup he's got, where there's still going to be a lot of growth for him. But I love the way he tries to compete and the way he plays and how driven he is to be a really, really good player.
I wanted to ask you about Buzelis also. Kind of the way he came out fast, and I know you have great regard for DeRozan, but he was really torturing DeRozan, going right at him. Was that part of the deal, that young legs, we could take advantage of this matchup, because he really was challenging the start?
Yeah, I think for us, it's just every game we've got to, put some pressure at the rim, and he's really good because when he does kind of pick it up or gather it, he can Euro step and he can kind of pivot around people, and he's so long he can kind of get to the rim where it doesn't look like he can quite get there. But that's the way we've tried to play all year long, is try to, at least in those situations where there is space, to try to, put the ball on the floor, to get the ball ahead of the defense, try to create some pressure on the rim, maybe force the defense to collapse, and then we can get into these guys being pretty unselfish.
You mentioned it the other day, maybe it's just serendipity. You said it was a key, the way guys finished the second quarter and sort of flipped the game the other day. And then you did it again. They really, they were controlling the game until that last 9 or 10 or whatever run. Mm-hmm. Was there anything different you saw, or was that just, you guys got the rhythm?
Yeah, I think every game's different, Sam. You don't know. I'm happy with the way we came out. I thought we had a really good first quarter. I thought the defense at the end of the first quarter wasn't great, and then we got into a lull there in the second, closed the second well. But it's been good to see them come out that way, in the third. I think we knew we probably fouled too much in the first half. I think the fouling and the turnover really got the game slowed and probably got into their hands. And then I thought in the third quarter, we put together a few stops right in a row, and we were able to come down and convert. And it kind of gave us some breathing room. We took, I think, control of the game from the standpoint of the pace.
I got one more. First half kind of looked a little bit actually like a dunk contest. I don't know how many they had. They must have had 10 dunks or something. Not many in the second half. Did you just collapse more? Was there anything you did differently to, close that off?
Well, I think there was one action we were running we were having a hard time with, and we kind of made a few adjustments on that. We got that cleaned up, which helped. And then I think the other part was you saw like Jalen Smith put his body into play, even though it was a block, tried to take a charge. Trey Jones put his body into play, took a charge. There was none of that in the first half. Sabonis was just coming right down the lane on rolls, and there was nobody there. And we're going to have to be there because I've talked about this. We just don't have like this unbelievable amount of rim protection in terms of shot blocking. Now we do block some shots. I don't mean it that way, but when centers are rolling down the lane like that, we're going to have to pull across and get our bodies in play. And I thought we did a much better job of that in the second half.
You just kind of mentioned the stuff you guys had defensively in the second half when you held them under 50 points in the half. Just the general defense has kind of been the key for you guys early on. What stood out to you about
Defensively?
Yeah, defensively. All season, they're really in the run you guys made in the second half.
Well, I mean, listen, they're coming off a really, really tough back-to-back. They had a really hard-fought game with every opportunity going down to the wire in OKC, coming here and playing. So I don't want to speak for them. I don't know how they were feeling. Back-to-backs are always tough for everybody. It's just part of it. You have to deal with it. I just think that we were able to – listen, they made some shots that were tough shots in the first half. There were a couple, quite honestly, to start the third quarter that were around the rim that just didn't quite fall for them. That kind of allowed us to get on the break and get back to really good pace and tempo. Outside the fouling there, like we fouled DeMar a couple times, Zach. We had some fouls on some reach and some slap downs. That kind of got the game slowed again, but I felt like we didn't do that to start the third quarter, where the third quarter of the game was just going up and down, and that helped us. I think when we're turning the ball over and fouling too much, and it's for any team, with the pace and the speed teams are playing with, it's really hard to play that way if you're constantly, taking the ball in the net on free throws, or the other team's getting it, you're throwing it away, and they're, transitioning down the floor and making a layup or a dunk. But I did think the defense to start the third quarter, and really for that first 6 minutes, was really good for us.
Really, sort of the consensus in the locker room the other night after the last one was that there's a different energy in the locker room, that the camaraderie is different, that the summer they had, this sort of group that's gelled better than Io said it's the most connected he's felt with any group. Maybe I'm wrong about this, I don't know. Do you feel now that, Zach and DeMar not part of this anymore? Obviously, those type of all-star guys, they come with expectations. The expectations going out the window, not like you're not holding this team to a certain standard, but those expectations going out the window. Do you feel like it's allowed a certain freedom in the locker room for these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unique. Just listen to. I'm taking off of what you're telling me they told you. The way I view it is, DeMar was as good as I've been around in terms of investing in younger players. I've never seen a veteran do that like him. I mean, he was so unbelievable with his time, having guys come out in the summertime, going to Io's retirement jersey, all that stuff. The same thing could be said for Zach. He was the same exact way. I remember when Josh Giddey came here, and Josh was going through a difficult time last year, just trying to not fit in, but getting himself comfortable playing the game. Zach came up and says, you have any ideas, suggest anything I do to help Josh? Those are the kind of guys that they were. I think when players of that standard, who are all-stars, Hall of Fame type players, when they leave, there's just kind of a new starting over point, so to speak, and I think for Io and for Kobe and for Patrick, Modest is now in his second year. There's guys that have been here that it's like, okay, we've got to carry the torch now, and we're not the kind of team that's just going to be able to rely on a player to close games out for us. We're going to have to do it together, and I think that they understand that, that it's about what kind of team are we going to become, and I think that they know, and I think Io's driven this, I think Kobe's driven this, I think the guys are driven this. It's like, we got to be a really, really connected group. We got to be really tied together. We got to know each other. We got to spend time with each other. We got to invest in each other, because we're going to need each other out there. And sometimes with, listen, there was plenty of times when I watched over on that sideline, DeMar's got the ball and he's making something happen, and he's making a game-winning shot, or Zach's doing the same thing. And, now you're in a situation where, okay, something new's happening, and they're all having to rely upon each other. And I'm happy to hear them say what they said to you.
Trajectory that he saw, and the way you would ask questions last year and want to come and work out when he was coming here and stuff. How nice is that to hear from a guy that's an established all-star and, obviously you played with for a couple months?
Yeah, I pay my homage to him. He's an amazing guy. He answers all the questions I have, texts. Amazing role model. He's like my first, he's a superstar teammate, so to say. But he was a great leader, and I thank him still answering, the phone, and that's my guy.
You told him you looked a little sick after the game?
Huh?
You told him you looked a little sick after the game?
Who? Zach? Sick?
That's what he said.
Did I say that?
No, he said Billy told him.
Oh, okay, Billy.
No, Zach looked good.
What about your start to the game? You came out particularly aggressive, attacking. I think it was DeMar, actually. But what were you trying to accomplish to start the game?
Yeah, my teammates told me to be aggressive. They said it was going to be hard to stop, me, because they're all focused on the other guys. So they said be aggressive. Vooch told me to be aggressive, and that's what I did.
What about the moves around the basket? The spins, the baseline stuff. Is that something added to the arsenal lately?
Yeah, I guess I've been doing this since a young age. It's just showing now to you guys, but I've always had that, and I work on my game, so that's just what happens.
Billy said after that Orlando game, you guys had a talk.
Yeah.
You were not happy with the way you played and told them, you were going to be better and stuff. It's easy to say that, but to actually come out the last couple games and be better, especially in this league and the competition it is, what does that say about you and how much that did bother you that you just feel like you didn't play physical against Orlando?
Yeah, when your coach has belief in you and everyone has belief in you, and you just when they have belief in you, and everyone on the team does, I just take it in, and I keep my head to the sky, and I keep working.
What do you think about this team still being undefeated? I know it's early in the season, but to be able to be 4-0 at this point.
It's a blessing. That's what God had for us, and we're just going to keep working, stay consistent, never too high, never too low, keep working.
Do you feel like there's been a big, since the end of last season, I know it's only a few games into this season, but the way how fast this game is and how tough it is, do you feel like you've grown so much since then, even like just in starting your second year?
Absolutely. I'm a guy that's never going to stop learning. No matter what's happening, if we're losing, winning, draw, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep working, stay consistent, and keep praying to God for my opportunity.
Shooting the
You guys have started this year. Do you feel like you can start building off the way y'all finished last year? What kind of things are you seeing? Maybe you're carrying over. Do you think that kind of benefited the defense minutes?
I guess that don't really matter. This is a new season. I have confidence in everyone in the room that we're capable of doing anything if we're all on the same page, and we're all dedicated to the grind, and our drive and ambition is all the same. We just we got to keep rolling. That's what we got to do.
One of the things coming into this season, people said about you is about you need to improve maybe your three off the dribble.
Yeah.
Well, what do you feel that so far? Only 4 games, obviously, but what
Yeah.
you've done better this season compared to before?
I don't know. I'm getting more opportunity. I know what I'm capable of, so when I have the ball in my hand, I'm confident. If I'm off the ball without it, I can make plays. I can pretty much do everything on the court. So, the main thing for me was just playing really hard, and everything else will come after that. So that's what I'm doing now.
Are you surprised might not be the right word, but maybe pleased that a year ago you were basically not even in the rotation, that you could come so quickly at such a young age, in this league?
I just keep my head to the sky, and I thank God for my opportunity every day. It's a blessing, and I'm not going to take it for granted. But that's for me. I keep thanking God every day.
Modestly, the other night after that last win, it seemed like the consensus here was that this there's such a strong connection in the locker room that was kind of built over the summer. Io said specifically this is the most connected he's felt with any team. Do you feel like that's played a big role in your start, that sort of carried you guys in your start?
Absolutely. You know, we do stuff off the court all together. Everyone has a bond. Everyone gels well together. So, you know, this team is very connected on and off the court. And we're not jealous of each other. We're happy to see the next guy step up and kill, just as, you know, the best players on the team, just like Josh. Vooch is killing. If Julian goes kill, everyone's excited for the next guy.
I guess what does it take for such a young team to take that and translate that to actual on-the-court production?
I don't know what you think.
I have no clue. I'm not on the team.
I mean, you see it out there. We're connected, and as I said before, we got to keep working. It's only 4 games, so.